All right, guys, good morning. It's morning for me, and welcome to the live stream. We're going to talk a little bit about Linux Mint, one of the year's best. After multiple tests, hope you guys are all doing well. I am finishing up a cup of tea, because I ran out of coffee. It snowed this morning, yuck, but luckily Linux Mint is not yuck. So my question for you is, how would you define the best OS, the best operating system? And we'll talk about that here in a moment. I have installed multiple versions of Linux Mint on multiple machines, and I very seldom have to, fix anything or tweak anything. Sometimes, but very seldom. Almost never. Let me take another sip of tea here. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Linux Mint. All right, so how would you define the best or one of the best OSs, one of the best Linux-based operating systems? All right, well, let's see. Let's have a mental checklist here. Would it be something lightweight? Yeah. Something fast? Okay. Something that's easy to use? Okay. Something that you don't need to install extra things like extensions to make it user-friendly? Yeah. Something that's reliable? Yeah. Something with a proven body of work, such as reliability. Well, Linux Mint has been around since 2006. So let's see, 1, 2, 10, 17 years. Almost 20 years now. I would say that is probably proven reliability, kind of like a Lexus or a Toyota, right? I would say so. And something, for me, another thing would be proven reliability over multiple installs, multiple tests over multiple machines, and something where if I have a problem, it's somewhat easily fixed, or having a problem that doesn't destroy the enjoyment of the specific operating system. In this case, that would be Linux Mint. Now, I've had very good luck also with Chrome OS. That's my number one choice for beginners. And I've had very good luck with Zorin OS. Over the course of, for me, it's been almost 20 years. I started using Linux since 2006 also. And I found out about Linux Mint, I would say before 2010, when I started this operating system, this Total OS Today channel. And by the way, I'm calling this Technology Entertainment or Techtainment. The channel has morphed over the years, but yeah, we talk technology, but I also want to have fun. By the way, I have a quick joke for you. Had a rough last week, very rough. I went to see a hooker. I dropped my pants, she dropped her price. Bada boom. That's an old Rodney Dangerfield joke. I had to toss that in. Let me get another sip of tea here. Rodney. I love tea in the morning. I can't believe I ran out of coffee. All right, back to Linux Mint. And by the way, I'm sure I will miss most of you. Guys, send me some hints when to do these live shows. Let me know. If you're interested. If not, well, that's okay too, I suppose. All right, let's get back to Linux Mint. So the latest version looks like they name these versions after females. I would too. Linux Mint Victoria 21.2. All right, so there are different versions of this. And I guess the flagship version, the main version, would be Cinnamon Edition. That's okay. It's not my favorite. My favorite is Mate. Nothing wrong with Cinnamon, it's just not my favorite. Linux Mint Mate is my favorite. I just like the simple interface. And my second favorite would be the XFCE version. They also have the Cinnamon Edge, ships with a new kernel. I believe they offer the LMDE Linux Mint Debian Edition. All of these have simple desktop environments, easy to use. The simplest definitely has to be Chrome OS, or Chrome OS Flex if you want to download and try it. Of course, Chrome OS is installed in Chromebooks. We've talked about the Linux standard for Chromebooks, and now you can get Chromebook Plus, the highest standard of machine, starting at about $400, but that's a topic for a different video. So when it comes to Linux Mint, if you didn't know, there are different versions. You can certainly try every one of these if you want to. They are free to download. If you have an older machine like this Gateway that's 10 years old with an outdated processor, you probably try the XFCE or the Mate versions. I tried installing Cinnamon on this one. It installed fine, but it sputtered. So for an older machine, probably not the Linux Mint Cinnamon version. So again, different versions of Linux Mint. All right, another sip of tea and we'll browse my version of Linux Mint. All right, for those of you watching this podcast, we just transitioned here. Of course, I am running OBS Studio to make all this happen. And you may or may not hear the background music. Of course, background music once again provided by Dad. All right, so this is my version of Linux Mint XFCE. Very little. In fact, the only modification I did, of course, created the wallpaper for Total OS Today. I moved the panel from the bottom to the top. So instead of making this a 1 or 2 hour video talking about every single thing about Linux Mint, let's talk briefly about the software. Accessories. Now some of these I will probably wind up uninstalling, something I would never use. So under accessories, briefly going through this. Okay, Redshift. Color temperature adjustment tool. This is probably something I will never use. I would personally delete that. Warpinator, send and receive files across the network. Probably delete that also. I probably would not use that. Let's take a look at the let's take a look at the task manager. All right, so this machine has maximum 8 gigs of RAM installed. And we're using about 2.0. CPU usage is almost 50%. Sputters up and down. That's kind of high, but again, this is an outdated machine. It still runs. It runs Linux perfectly. RAM usage for 2 gigs is about right. So very good. Well, let's go back. So we looked at accessories, graphics. I will probably keep all of these. Drawing, pics. I did install Shotwell to organize photos, document scanner. May or may not use that, but I'll keep it in there. The internet. All right. Firefox is installed by default. It's not my favorite web browser. I'm still having problems with sound. Occasionally, I'll play music or video, and if it's Firefox browser, the sound gets all staticky. I have not been able to figure that out, and it's not only in Linux Mint. There's something in the Firefox browser. Anyway, I prefer Brave. I did install Chromium just to test it, but probably my favorite 2 browsers would be Chrome and Brave web browser. The Hex chat, chat with people online, is probably not something I would use. Normally when I do a chat, it's with you guys live or Skype, Zoom, Google Meet. KDE Connect, connecting Android devices, probably something I would not use. Thunderbird email, this is how I get the notifications for the PayPal donations. Thank you, by the way. Transmission, web apps, this is probably something I won't use, but maybe. All right, multimedia. I did install Audacious, a very lightweight music player. Celluloid. I may uninstall this. I preferred VLC, which I installed. Hypnotix to watch TV. I don't use it that much. I cannot get Italian TV programs here. That's not the fault of Hypnotics. That's the licensing agreements. RAI Italian TV. My dad shot a TV series last year there in Italy, and well, it's his friend's series, and he's in it, but I will not be able to watch it here. Boo. Oh my, I just let out a big sneeze. Okay, Kdenlive I installed to edit videos. I did install OBS Studio, Pulse Audio, keep that rhythm box, and I did install VLC, the quintessential media player for both Windows and Linux. Everybody should have VLC, and I mean everybody. Office, Dictionary, probably don't need that. The LibreOffice Suite. The only one of these I would probably keep, maybe Writer. The rest of this I don't really need. The calculator, the Impress and Draw. It is an excellent suite, by the way, but don't need all of this. Under Settings, let's see. If I would delete anything here, you have to be careful deleting something under Settings. You might screw things up. Yeah, I would probably, okay, the welcome screen, don't really need that, but I turned it off during startup, but if I delete that, I may screw up something. I'm not sure, but yeah, probably all of this I'll keep. Appearance, lots of choices, by the way, to customize the look of this. I'm not going to change this now, but yeah, for a lightweight system, this one is loaded for the XFCE version of Linux Mint. System, I installed Bleach Bit to free up space. And let's see, anything here I would delete. Nope. Probably keep all of this. The backup tool, I don't back up on the drive itself. The proper way to back up, in my opinion, is through external hard drives, USB sticks. Multiple hard drives. Back up and back up again, as I always say. Especially running Windows. I can't believe the ransomware is still a problem. It's easily fixable. Windows has built-in ransomware protection. It would help if you turn it on. And number two, where's the offsite backups? You have companies paying millions of dollars to get their information back. I'm surprised. Should not be a problem. Anyway, let's see. By the way, the printer app, Linux Mint, configured my new Linux Mint is one of the best. Now, I have my printer turned off, but it recognized my printer on the network. I have it turned off now. Let's go back here to the printer app. It recognized my printer on the network. I have it turned off now, and I was able to print without downloading any of the special drivers, which it does not have any Linux drivers. Excuse me, I think I have to sneeze again. Oh my. All right. I hope I'm not catching a cold. Anyway, where were we? So as far as what I would delete, I've showed you that. We have some shortcuts here, settings and log out and shutting down. You can right click on here. There's some other options. Desktop settings. I do like the quick link for the terminal. Right click and open up a terminal to install something. You don't have to install using the terminal. If you are new to this, you can use the built-in software manager for all of this, which is pretty easy in my opinion. I did the nice thing about the terminal here, you can add items, little, I guess they call these applets, at least that's what they call it in Mate. I added the weather applet over here to the far right, and it gives me the quick forecast for morning, afternoon, evening, and night, and 29 degrees tonight Fahrenheit. Yuck. Yucky. And of course OBS Studio to make this all happen. All right. Wow, I may have to take some cold medicine. Anyway, so that is my brief description of why I think Linux Mint is one of the best. And not just for beginners, but really for anyone who's curious about Linux. It's in my top 3. Number 1 will be Chrome OS, Chromebooks, Chrome OS Flex. I've never seen a bug in those things. Amazing machines. After that, you have your Linux Mints. Mate, Ubuntu Mate is good too, by the way. Last but not least, in my multiple tests, Zorin OS. Zorin has been around since 2010. And they also offer machines starting at around the $400 range. That is the sweet spot for Linux-powered machines for the masses, along with the Chromebooks. So if you're ready, consider trying Linux-based machines. Don't be scared. It isn't that difficult anymore. All right, I finished my tea, but I'll stick around for a little bit more. If anybody is in the chat, wants to say hello, again, these are random live broadcasts. The only way to find out is to subscribe and click the notification bell. If anybody's in the chat and wants to say hello, don't be shy, or has a question, that's what I'm here for. I don't have to do these things for myself anymore. It's something I enjoy doing, and chatting with you guys. And this really was helpful during the pandemic lockdowns. Probably, maybe in the next one, we'll talk a little bit about Chrome OS and Chromebooks, and now how they have slowly and quietly become the Linux gold standard machines for the masses. Incredible machines starting at $200. Just incredible. And now they will get 10 years of support, beating out even $2,000 Macs, according to what you say. For those of you who have Macs, that is not bad. I really do need to get more coffee cups for my coffee machine. Tea is okay, but it's not my favorite thing in the morning. You guys can't see, but I'm doing my morning stretches here to keep from getting cramped up during the day, especially in the winter time. Here on the carpeting, it feels good. And it's good for my back too. All right, let me replay Dad's music list. If you're watching this, there is a link below. If you want to support the channel or toss me a tip, as it were, get it TOS, toss Total OS a tip. You can sample the music from Dad, or contribute through PayPal or Patreon to help cover all this, all these expenses for this channel of ours. This is, let's see, well, starting in January, it'll be 14 years of the channel. Dang. Yeah. And you guys made it possible. And I mean all of you. It's been quite a ride. Quite a ride. All right, let me look here. Looks like we're still in the green. No dropped frames. Looks like the signal looks good. You know, for a 10-year-old processor, this thing is chugging along. Of course, Linux Mint makes that possible. Let me see if anybody... let me go back here. All right, let's see here. Denise is in the house. Sorry, I had a little bit of a glitch there. Not sure if that was me or Comcast. Anyway, speaking of Comcast, stop raising my rates. Ugh. All right, Denise says, Hola, how are you, sir? I am doing well. Let me see if I can install something real quick here just to try something different without crashing this. Let me go to the terminal and see what we have here. Alright, I'm installing something lightweight. I think it's called LX Task Manager, I think. Through the terminal. Of course, you don't have to install that. Okay, I think it worked. This is a cleaner looking monitor task manager. So, alright, let me go here. Let me do a split screen here on my screen. I'll show you this in a second. Alright, let me go back to OBS. Those of you who are watching this, let's transition. Alright, so I used the terminal to install the LX Task Manager. Alright, so CPU usage here on the left and memory on the right. Almost 2 gigs of RAM. Again, it's not too bad. Not bad. Yep. And of course, OBS is using the most out of the CPU, 26%. That would make sense. Alright, let me go back to the chat here. Alright, looks like this morning it is just Dennis. Anybody else wants to say hello? All right, I'll give this 2 more minutes. If nobody else pops in the chat, well, I guess we'll wrap it up for this morning so I can start my day and have some breakfast and all that good stuff. All right, we'll finish this up with just a brief look here at the Linux Mint Software Manager. Nice looking. All right, so I guess we'll wrap it up for this morning. Thank you, Dennis, for popping in. Always good to say hello from, I think, Dennis is from overseas, if I recall. The FileZilla. That's the sequel to Godzilla. You know, there's like 2 or 3 Godzilla movie things coming out. One movie is called Godzilla -1. That's what it's called. Maybe he lost at tennis. I don't know. -1. Yeah. Anyway. Why not? Oh, what's that song? Oh, no, they say he's got to go. Godzilla. By Blue Oyster Cult. Look it up. All right. That's it for this one. Enjoy your Linux Mint or Chromebooks or Zorin or whatever you use. I'm going to finish up here and make some breakfast, some eggs or something. Always a pleasure. That's it. I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.